All right, so tonight, um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the corruption at the Veterans Affairs, and I think I'm going to have a new style of recording these videos because I'm no longer going to be using my phone to do this. I'm going to use my tablet and my computer. So we're talking about the corruption at the VA. Let's just start with a doctor that got fired, Dr. Mary Jo Lanska. If you want to know in complete detail what she did, look her up. Um, She was a Tomar VA physician, performed disability exam with veterans seeking VA benefits. I'm a disabled veteran, so I can relate to this shit, right? And you know, traumatic brain injuries and other service-related injuries. She was fired on May 16th. I don't know what year, probably last year or something like that. Yeah. She was lying and she got some veterans stripped or reduced of their disability pay or denied, and she kept on lying, and she screwed with the wrong person, got his stuff severed. And I'm looking up the facts right now, so I'm speaking from an article. And they were denied disability benefits and in some cases medical care, and their VA is now promising to review and reconsider all cases which veterans have received disability exam from Lanska. Um, this is absolutely ridiculous that a doctor would do this crap. As a 100% disabled veteran, I went through something similar. No, well, I didn't have anybody. I had the first examiner said I was malingering, right? And the shit actually happened to me. I actually got sexually assaulted, and I got sexually assaulted twice. Once in the army, and I got out of the army, got sexually assaulted 2 years later. So it messed me up even more, and it aggravated my already existing PTSD symptoms. And I tried to get my benefits like 10 years ago. I went to the doctor in Temple, Texas, and instead of talking to me, he gives me this test on the computer, and he tells the VA there's no way he failed this test this bad, and he puts on there malingering. So by the time I hired the lawyer in 2017, a few years later, she hires her own doctor. Doctor gives me a diagnosis of PTSD with depression. I go to the CMP examiner. She gives me a diagnosis of PTSD with depression. So now I got two diagnoses of PTSD with depression without these two doctors knowing each other. And it overruled what the VA tried to do because they literally did not want to pay me because like the army removed me from the army honorably, but I forced them to remove me. They wanted to send me back to Iraq because they knew I was going to get paid. It was just a matter of time. So what happened was they did not want to process this thing. They did not want to say PTSD. The first sergeant came and said, "We're going to send your ass back to Iraq if this comes back okay." Um, I can't say what I did on TikTok. Okay, to keep this video up, I cannot say what I did. So, and I'm not encouraging it. But what I did is I had to escape Iraq. I needed an escape. It was risky, and I made myself undeployable. And the intent was to make myself undeployable to come back to the United States because I wanted to get the hell out of the army. So I pissed them off enough to send me back to the United States. When I pulled that stunt, I told them, let's do the paperwork and let's chapter me out. The lieutenant colonel ordered an honorable discharge. I knew the discharge was going to be honorable. I'm getting all my benefits, all of them. The joke's on them because I'm receiving all of my benefits upon getting out. My GI Bill was half. It went from 50,000 to 25,000. It still paid for my social degree in full. So that's all I needed. And I never, I like I said, I ended up being a correction sergeant instead. And like I said, the years went on. I ended up doing armed security corrections, correction sergeant, all kinds of crap. My PTSDs by the years are getting worse and worse and worse and worse because I'm doing some crazy jobs, right? Especially the correction sergeant bit. So 2019 was the last time I worked, and I got all of my disability benefits 100% by 2022. 2019, my mother agreed to pay my bills all the way until May because I won my Social Security disability, but the Social Security Administration said it was going to take 5 months to pay me. So the minimum waiting time was 5 months, and they were going to pay me within that time. So my mom was like, "Okay, I'm going to pay your bills for the next 5 months." Um, and I call her up every month, and I have her send me all the money I needed in three payments, like one day out, like within 3 days, because she couldn't send it all at once. So it was just like 3 days, the first 3 days of the month, the this first, second, and third, call her up and tell her to send me the portion of the money for that day, right? And then I got all the money, and then I paid all my bills as soon when all the money came in. And um, she kept it up for 5 months. She even paid for my HBO Max for 5 months. And the money came in, and I was still kind of hurting because I had my Social Security disability and 50% VA. And then by 2022, I was increased to 100%. So I'm 100% permanent total and Social Security disability because of what these guys did to me. And then they had the nerve to try to lie and say this shit didn't happen, and it did. They messed with me horribly. And even before the assaults, they were bullying me and harassing the shit out of me and everything. I mean, it was just horrendous. Um, I don't understand this government, man. And they do stuff to people that they don't want to own up to it. And then I had a guy, I asked for a tube of toothpaste one night, and his lights were on. And I didn't think anything of it. All you gotta say is no thanks, man. Instead, he grabbed me by my throat, slammed me into a wall, and picked me up by my neck. That happened as well. So they have physically battered me, sexually assaulted me, and then bullied the shit out of me. So that's three different things the army did to me while I was on active duty, and that's what all of that combined caused the PTSD. And they messed me over bad. I mean, I lost everything. I lost my first car. I lost it, my whole life. I mean, like literally, I had to rebuild myself. And when I was a correction sergeant, it wasn't good enough because when you're out, even though I was making more money than what I was making when I was in the army, it wasn't enough because now out here in the real world, you got rent, you got real bills, and that's all the money you have. They don't pay you extra to cover rent. So in the real world, things work very differently because you don't have live in the free barracks and all this stuff. Um, you got freedom, yeah, but you got bills. So things are very, very different. So I needed to be compensated for all the bullshit to restore my life. And that's exactly what happened. I was back paid $70,000 and granted 100% disability penalty and all that stuff on top of that. So I furnished my home before I got married. Everything in here I got bought with that money. I spent the whole 70,000. I don't have not one trace of that left. I'm rebuilding my savings as we speak. I'm about to buy a house cash in 10 years. So I'm rebuilding my account. And I blew out the entire 70 grand. And that was like 100% all my furniture. And I already had the TVs. It's just everything I've paid. The deal was to pay my mom back for the furniture, the basic furniture that was in here. And I did that. So basically, I bought the furniture from my mom. Um, so I didn't get this. I didn't get the furniture for free. I had to pay her for it, the exact price that she paid for it. That's exactly what I paid for it and reimbursed her. So that was the deal, right? She advanced me that, and I paid for it. So I'm running out of time. I gotta, yeah. But that's it. I'm out of here.